Jeff Hansen, Window Warriors Forum. Check us out at windowcleaningwarriors.com. Today I was just going to mention a few things on complaints, customer complaints. And I think what I'm going to focus on today is just like on the commercial end, larger commercial properties. And it happens to us a few times a year. And we actually service a lot of, we do most of the hospitals in our city and larger commercial high-rise properties. So these are 1 to 2 city square blocks, just big facilities, but it leaves a lot of room for missed areas, just a lot to be overlooked if you don't have a proper plan to implement. So with that commercial work comes a lot of, there's a lot of positives, and there's also a lot of negatives too. One of the biggest negatives that I hear of from people is the payment. We'll clean a $15,000 job. It might take us a few days to complete it, and then you bill it. You're carrying the wages through the whole project, and then 30 to 60 days, depending on what the customer, the terms that they have are, you'll get paid. So that can be a long time to hold that. What we find a lot is, we give them a 30-day. Every customer has a 30-day. Our billing period is 30 days. And if they are a customer that comes in and they say that they pay invoices, up to 45 to 60 days, we charge more for that job. And for us, we're not a bank. We don't, give them a loan or, any borrowing, anything like this of our time or services, because we have overhead, and it's just the best way to do it. So for a younger company to get involved with big commercial work is tough because of cash flow, and being able to carry wages and go longer periods without receiving those larger paychecks. With what the main topic is about complaints. So because these facilities are so big, it is easy to miss areas. Some companies intentionally skip areas. I mean, this is how some companies do business. And the complaints that we receive, I would say 99% of them a year are the customer doesn't see something right. Either it might be damaged glass, bad thermal pain. If we're doing exterior cleanings, it's on the interior. We see a lot of interior work that's bad, that the buildings people, environmental services, housekeeping, just the janitorial company are cleaning that it's not even our scope of work. And they just look at a window, saw their outsides were clean, and said, hey, this window's still dirty and it's inside. That's our biggest thing. So what I like to do, especially on the outside, because it's so noticeable, is I randomly will take 1 or 2 pictures of every job, and just to show, I find the dirtiest area, or as I'm working, it just comes to mind for me. It's not something I need to plan or anything like that I just snap a quick picture with my cell phone of a clean window next to a dirty window, and that way, if a customer calls, if it's the next day, the next week, the next month, I can say, okay, this is how dirty the windows were. This is what it looked like once we cleaned them. Let's see what the windows look like today, and we're going to be able to see. It all depends if the job gets done monthly, if it's a quarterly and annually. Some of these go every 1 or 2 or 3 years. So the level of dirt really depends, and it's easy to distinguish between a window that has been sitting for 6 months and one that was recently cleaned. So what happens commonly with us is we'll send, a company might be 30 days late. Our system automatically sends them a late notice. We commonly get a call after that late notice gets sent out to our customer, and they say, we'd like to pay this invoice, but we think you missed some areas. And 30 days after you do a job isn't the time to complain about it. Or to say you're just kind of buying time is what we see. But what happens, I just did this yesterday, and that's why I'm making this video. It was a 1 square block job. Outside only was like 20 grand, and we cleaned it 45 days ago, and he received his second late notice and says some areas were messed in. So I asked for a map and where they're located, whatnot. I was out there myself, knew the areas got cleaned, and it's always interesting because it's always, they say their windows are smeared, or and then that's a right there tells us it's something somebody else did. The equipment we use does not smear. That's like a rag or a different pattern, or they say it looks like somebody, you know, got the window wet but didn't squeegee it. And that's always something that we know is always going to be something outside of our crew, because of the tools that we use. So with this customer, what I was able to do is ask him what the area was. Once he identified the area, I actually had a picture below on main floor of the area that he was questioning about a first floor, so it was above it because it's a lower sunk in the ground building. So I had an actual picture of before and after, sent him right away and said, I'll stop out right now, I'll address it, we'll take a look, see what happened, and we'll fix it if it needs to be. Once we got on site, you know, and I also verified too, it was, since we had an exterior only cleaning, let's verify that this complaint is coming from an outside window not being clean. It's not the interior work. So he got back to me right away and says, yes, there is an exterior they're complaining about. And so I head out there, I addressed it. I went out of my way to go out there because I like to address these things right away. For one, it's usually not our fault. For two, it makes the customer know that they are a priority to us, that we'll address things immediately for them, and that we strive for quality and just good customer service. And I got out there, met with him. He even stated he was glad that I went out there right away. Very nice of us. When we looked at it, it was an inside window. The second complaint was in front of a nurse's station, and they claimed they sat there the entire day and didn't see our crew. Well, our crew was out there the second day to finish up, and that's when it got done, but they only had 6 windows. On a property that has, you know, this property probably had, you know, 1,500 or more windows. It was that size of a, I mean, 6 windows, and it sounded we clean in, you know, 3 minutes. So for them not to see us, that's another complaint that gets registered, is the window cleaners they missed my area because we did not see them clean the window. So what I did is I kept calm when this complaint was registered. I backed it up with some information, which was a photo. Just, this is what they, you know, were, this is what, you know, they were when we left, just to kind of show that we're going to be able to determine if it's been, you know, 30 days of dirt or if it's been 1 year of dirt. And met with the customer. We solved it by showing that the insides might need to, you know, the issue was the insides with the smudging or whatnot. So then I also said, we recommend that you have us do the insides, because then you won't have the smudging problem, anything like that. So I told him, you know, get some numbers put together, submit that to him. There'd be some great winter work for us. So it helps us kind of sell a little bit more inside work during the cold time of year. At the same time, when he's registering our complaint with us, that wasn't even our fault. The second area of the nurse's station, since it was only 6 windows, I explained to him at 6 windows. It was done 45 days ago. A little dirty, but the insides are the dirtiest part. I said, I have no problem with redoing those 6 windows because I'm already out there. So for me to re-clean those 6, it makes the person who registered the complaint happy. 6 windows doesn't take anything out of my day, and since I'm already out there, and it makes the person that registered the complaint happy, makes my contact person happy, and I think it just shows that when you receive a complaint on these bigger jobs, or on any job, it's how you handle it. Just keep calm, be focused, and be professional, and have something to support why you, believe you didn't miss it, or you did miss it, and even if it's something you did miss, hey, I did miss. All you gotta do is admit it. I missed this. We'll address it right now since I'm out here. Everything will be fine. A complaint, it all depends how it's handled, on how a customer perceives it, and how they'll recognize your professional standing in the future. Job security is the way you handle your accounts. That's a look at complaints with commercial properties. It's out here on Window Warriors Forum.